Have you ever been around someone and felt a subtle tension, a quiet pull in the air, a presence that speaks louder than words ever could? There are moments when attraction is not declared, when love or interest exists in silence, in gestures, in actions so minute that they almost escape notice. Yet these moments carry a weight far heavier than spoken words because they come from the deepest parts of human emotion, unfiltered, raw, and intentional, even if unacknowledged. Understanding these moments requires observing beyond the surface. It's not about waiting for a confession or relying on clear verbal admission. It's about noticing patterns, small repeated behaviors, micro-expressions, and subtle movements that signal something far more profound than mere friendship. Love, admiration, desire, it often whispers before it shouts. And when a woman is in love but tries not to show it, these whispers become her only language. The first sign is in her eyes. Eyes are more than a mirror. They are a window to what cannot be said. When she looks at you, there is a difference between casual observation and intentional focus. She may glance away quickly, pretending the world holds her attention, but her eyes inevitably find their way back to you. There is a tension in that glance, a flicker of awareness that betrays interest. You might catch her staring when she believes you aren't looking, or notice her gaze linger just slightly longer than social norms would dictate. These are signals of curiosity, a quiet form of affection, and a way to measure your reactions without exposing vulnerability. Compliments, too, take on a different character when genuine interest underlies them. A woman who loves but hides it will find indirect ways to express admiration. It may begin as subtle praise for mundane things, the way you speak, your choice of words, your appearance on a given day, even your habits. Each compliment is not casual, but calculated, to lift your mood, to engage you, to leave an impression without forcing explicit acknowledgement. These small, consistent affirmations communicate care and attraction more eloquently than any direct confession could. Smiles are another key indicator. Not the social smiles we offer to acquaintances or the polite ones exchanged in passing, but smiles that emerge spontaneously when her attention meets yours. These smiles are anchored in emotional response. They flare unexpectedly, betray warmth, and reveal feelings that words are too restrained to express. Her eyes accompany these smiles, betraying a subtle adoration that she works hard to mask. Even in conversation, the way her expression shifts, her lips curve, or her pupils dilate can reveal the depth of emotion beneath her composed exterior. Care, when observed carefully, manifests in tangible behaviors. She may ask about your well-being frequently, check how you are when you are ill, or notice subtle changes in your demeanor. This care extends beyond polite concern. It reflects a connection she wishes to nurture quietly. She may call or text to check in, or inquire through mutual acquaintances when she cannot do so directly. Every small act of attention carries a hidden meaning. You matter to her more than she will ever openly admit. Interest also appears in questions, real questions about your life, your experiences, your passions. The seemingly casual conversation is often a deliberate probe into who you are, what you value, and how compatible you might be. She gauges your responses carefully, noting your reactions and using this information to shape her own interactions with you. Questions about your day, your past experiences, your preferences, your dreams. These are markers of engagement and investment that transcend casual friendliness. Equally revealing is her listening. A woman who loves quietly will not only hear your words, she absorbs them. She remembers details, references past conversations, and aligns her reactions to demonstrate that your experiences matter. When you recount a story or share an opinion, she responds with an attentiveness that goes beyond politeness. She is mentally present, emotionally engaged, and subtly affirming your significance in her life. Patterns begin to emerge through repetition. One action alone is fleeting, easy to dismiss, but when a behavior recurs consistently, it forms a narrative. She may consistently find ways to be near you, engage in conversation, or adjust her appearance subtly in your presence. Each repetition reinforces the unspoken message. She wants to be noticed, valued, and acknowledged, but she holds herself back, balancing desire against fear of vulnerability. Her gestures are often nuanced but telling. Slight adjustments in posture, small shifts in position, and deliberate movements signal comfort, interest, and awareness of your presence. These actions may seem incidental to an unobservant eye, but when combined with other signs, they paint a portrait of concealed affection. Leaning slightly closer when speaking, angling her body subtly in your direction, or pausing momentarily to allow eye contact, each is a nonverbal declaration of connection, desire, and intent. Physical proximity is another domain where subtlety reigns. She may position herself near you in a room without appearing to seek it. She occupies spaces that allow natural interaction, casually brushes against you, or aligns herself within conversational clusters in ways that encourage engagement. The closeness is never overt, never aggressive. It is calculated and carefully managed, signaling interest while maintaining plausible deniability. The timing of her actions often speaks louder than the acts themselves. She seems to appear at moments when your attention is most available, during quiet pauses, transitions between activities, or moments of reduced social distraction. These strategic appearances are not accidental. They demonstrate awareness and an understanding of social rhythm, subtly ensuring she captures your focus without overt declaration. Even silence becomes expressive. When nothing is said, she allows the moment to exist, letting her presence convey emotion. While she may not speak, the energy between you communicates a level of engagement, anticipation, and emotional resonance that words could never achieve. Silence becomes a shared understanding, a bridge to intimacy that she cannot or will not articulate. Her expressions evolve as interactions deepen. Micro-expressions, subtle movements of eyebrows, lips, or facial muscles reveal emotions that are tightly controlled yet impossible to fully conceal. These fleeting cues betray admiration, longing, or emotional resonance, often noticed only by those attentive enough to detect them. Smiles, glances, and shifts in focus are orchestrated unconsciously, communicating an affection she cannot voice openly. Attention to detail is critical. She notices nuances in your behavior, preferences, and choices. She remembers small anecdotes, favorite songs, or personal anecdotes you've shared in passing. These observations allow her to connect more meaningfully, creating touch points for future interaction, demonstrating that she values your individuality and fostering intimacy without verbal confirmation. Physical touch is approached with restraint yet deliberate intent. A casual brush of the hand, a lingering touch on the shoulder, or proximity that invites connection without overtly stating desire, all are methods of expressing affection covertly. Her environment and habits may shift around you. She may adjust her appearance to reflect your known preferences subtly, choose clothing styles that she believes will catch your eye, or align herself with activities and interests you value. These decisions are rarely accidental. They reflect a strategic alignment designed to enhance connection and attention. Shared experiences, even small ones, are cultivated deliberately. She may invite you into discussions about favorite movies, music, books, or hobbies, using shared enthusiasm as a bridge to deeper emotional connection. She subtly seeks common ground, nurturing compatibility and reinforcing a bond without overt declaration of her feelings. Social circles provide additional insight. Her friends may subtly indicate her interest, whether through shared stories, social media interactions, or curious questions about you. Observing these cues in context with her behavior allows for a clearer understanding of her concealed action. Friends' knowledge and engagement act as indirect confirmation of feelings she cannot yet articulate openly. Playfulness and humor become tools of connection. Light teasing, inside jokes, and playful interactions are often employed to create shared experiences and moments of emotional intimacy. Humor becomes a vehicle for affection, creating memorable interactions that strengthen connection while preserving emotional safety for her. Her energy levels fluctuate in your presence. She may appear more animated, engaged, or attentive interacting with you compared to other social contexts. These variations are subtle but meaningful, reflecting emotional investment and conscious modulation of behavior to convey interest while avoiding explicit confession. Finally, her strategic use of conversation, silence, and presence crafts a complex communication system. Every word, glance, and gesture is embedded with multiple layers of meaning.
The interplay between what she reveals and conceals becomes a delicate dance, one that balances desire with fear, vulnerability with caution, and love with restraint. To recognize this concealed affection, one must pay attention, observe patterns, and understand context. Each gesture, each repetition, each nuanced movement is part of a tapestry that reveals her emotions without spoken admission. Understanding these signals allows for deeper connection, insight, and opportunity, provided one is attentive, patient, and perceptive enough to decode the subtle language she employs.
Number 6. She creates moments where attention naturally shifts back to her, without asking for it. You could be talking about anything, something random, something completely unrelated, and somehow she redirects the focus. Not in an obvious way, but in a smooth, almost effortless way. She might lean in slightly when you're speaking, not too close, just enough to shift your awareness. Or she might slow down her movements when you're looking, making even the simplest action feel more noticeable. There's a rhythm to it. She doesn't compete for attention, she pulls it. And the difference is everything. Because when someone pulls attention instead of forcing it, it feels magnetic. You don't feel pressured to look, you just do. And once your focus is on her, she holds it. Not by speaking louder, not by doing something dramatic, but by staying just unpredictable enough that your attention doesn't drift away. Number 5. Her body orientation starts favoring you, even when she's not directly interacting with you. This is one of the quietest signals, but also one of the most consistent. Watch how she positions herself, her feet, her knees, the direction of her body when she's standing or sitting. Even when she's talking to someone else, there's a slight angle toward you. Not fully turned, not obvious, but enough to show where her attention naturally leans. And here's the key part. People don't consciously control this. Body orientation is instinctive. It reveals interest without needing permission. If her body keeps aligning toward you, even when her words are directed elsewhere, it means something deeper is pulling her focus. You become her point of awareness, even when you're not the center of the conversation. Number 4. She reacts differently to your presence compared to others, even in subtle ways. It's not about big reactions, it's about inconsistencies. With others, she might be steady, predictable, neutral. But with you, something shifts. Maybe she smiles a little longer than necessary. Maybe her tone softens slightly. Maybe she pauses before responding, like she's thinking more carefully about what to say. Even her silence feels different. There's a weight to it, a kind of awareness that wasn't there before. And sometimes it goes the other way too. She might become slightly more playful, slightly more teasing, slightly more expressive. Not because she's trying to entertain you, but because your presence triggers a different side of her. And that contrast is important, because attraction doesn't always show up as obvious excitement. Sometimes it shows up as change, a break in pattern, a shift in behavior that only happens around one person. Number 3. She mirrors you without realizing it. This is one of the strongest subconscious signals. You take a sip of your drink, moments later, she does the same. You lean back, she adjusts her posture in a similar way. You slow your speech, her tone follows. It's not perfect copying, it's subtle synchronization. And it happens naturally when someone feels connected, when they're tuned into your presence on a deeper level. Mirroring isn't something people fake easily, because it requires attention, real attention. Not just hearing your words, but feeling your rhythm. And when she starts matching that rhythm, it means she's not just around you, she's with you, mentally, emotionally, physically present in the moment. Number 2. She holds eye contact just a little longer than normal, then breaks it in a way that feels intentional. Eye contact is one of the most revealing signals, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. Anyone can look at you, but not everyone holds that look. There's a difference between casual eye contact and eye contact that lingers. That extra second, that slight pause before she looks away. That moment where it feels like something is about to be said, but isn't.
And when she finally breaks it, it's not abrupt. It's controlled, soft, almost like she's pulling back, not because she wants to, but because she has to. And then it happens again later, repeated, consistent. That pattern matters because eyes don't hide interest well. They reveal it, even when everything else tries to stay composed. Number 1, she creates emotional openings without directly stating what she wants. This is the most important one because it doesn't rely on physical signals alone. It shows up in conversation, in the things she chooses to share and how she shares them. She might mention feeling bored or lonely or wanting something more exciting in her life. Not in a dramatic way, but in a casual tone, as if it's just part of the conversation. But it's not random. These are openings, moments where she's giving you a glimpse into her emotional state without asking anything directly. She's not saying, "Give me attention." She's saying, "This is where I am," and leaving space for you to step into it. Sometimes she'll bring up topics that carry a slightly deeper tone. Relationships, attraction, what people want. Not to analyze them logically, but to feel your response, to see how you engage with that level of conversation. Because when someone is interested, they don't just want your attention physically, they want your presence emotionally too. And these moments, these quiet, almost invisible openings, are where that connection begins. There's something most people miss about all of this. None of these behaviors are loud. None of them come with a clear announcement. They exist in the in-between, in the pauses, the glances, the slight shifts in movement and tone. That's where real signals live. Because when something is obvious, it doesn't require attention. But when something is subtle, it reveals who's actually paying attention. And the truth is, the difference between missing the moment and recognizing it comes down to whether you see what's being shown without needing it to be said.
There is a subtle art in understanding when someone truly desires you without saying a word. It is not just the obvious gestures or the grand declarations that reveal hidden affection. It is the quiet, consistent, almost imperceptible behaviors that accumulate over time, painting a picture of interest, longing, and emotional attachment. To observe these signals is to witness a language of subtlety, a choreography of feelings expressed through small actions, fleeting expressions, and deliberate choices that most people overlook. The woman who harbors feelings she cannot voice does so through layers of behavior that demand careful observation, empathy, and awareness to fully decode. One of the most profound signals is the way she prioritizes your presence. Without announcing it, she arranges her daily life so that you are included, consciously or subconsciously, in her environment. She may choose the same spaces as you during breaks, linger in areas where she knows your attention will drift, or time her arrivals to coincide with yours. These are not coincidences. They are quiet manipulations of circumstance, designed to increase proximity and facilitate engagement. The precision with which these moments occur indicates intention, a desire to remain close, to ensure that even without words, her attention is visible. Her facial expressions convey volumes. Beyond smiles and glances, there is a subtle modulation in her micro-expressions that betray her emotions. When you speak, she reacts with micro-shifts in eyebrow height, eye dilation, and lip tension, each movement fleeting yet revealing. She may blink more rapidly, a physiological response to excitement or heightened attention, or her pupils may dilate slightly, reflecting subconscious attraction. Her gaze is telling. It may linger just long enough to be noticeable, but not so long as to expose vulnerability, a careful balance between desire and restraint. When she catches your attention, her expressions often carry an undertone of anticipation or internal deliberation, signaling emotional investment that she is unwilling to verbalize. Physical proximity is another indicator. Even when she maintains a socially acceptable distance, there is a careful orchestration in her movements that subtly reduces space between you. A shift of the shoulder toward you, a slight lean, or the careful alignment of her body so that her legs or torso point in your direction. All of these are manifestations of interest expressed physically. These gestures are deliberate, yet often subconscious. They communicate availability, attention, and desire without the need for spoken acknowledgement. The way she navigates shared environments, whether stepping closer to pass, adjusting seating arrangements, or subtly angling herself during conversation, reflects a continuous effort to remain within your perceptual and emotional field. Her engagement in conversation carries layers of hidden meaning. She may ask questions that seem casual but are carefully selected to reveal your personality, values, and preferences. These questions serve dual purposes: to satisfy curiosity and to create moments of intimacy through shared disclosure. She listens intently, remembers details, and brings them into future interactions, demonstrating that your words hold weight in her mind. Additionally, her responses are often calibrated to show alignment with your views, mirroring subtle gestures, speech patterns, and phrasing. This mirroring is a form of rapport building and emotional resonance, a nonverbal declaration of connection and compatibility that she is unable or unwilling to articulate explicitly. Attention to detail is a hallmark of concealed affection. She notices small changes in your appearance, mood, or routine, reflecting attunement that goes beyond casual observation. A slight alteration in hairstyle, a new outfit, or a change in demeanor does not go unnoticed. She may compliment subtly, reference it in conversation, or respond with expressions that betray awareness and appreciation. These reactions are intentional yet understated, serving to communicate interest without overexposure or vulnerability. Each observation is a building block in an intricate lattice of signals designed to indicate attachment without verbal confirmation. Timing and responsiveness in digital communication are extensions of her in-person behavior. She may initiate interactions during moments when she knows you are available, respond promptly to maintain continuity, or share content that reflects personal significance. This could include links to articles, songs, or media that express emotions indirectly, providing insight into her inner world. Even the rhythm of her messages, the length, tone, and pacing can reflect emotional states, engagement, and interest. By maintaining a subtle but persistent presence in your digital space, she communicates attention, availability, and connection without overt declaration. Her use of humor is instructive. Playful teasing, gentle ribbing, or shared inside jokes allow her to engage without exposing vulnerability. Humor becomes a medium for emotional expression, providing a safe channel for interaction that balances intimacy and self-protection. The content of the jokes, the timing, and the way she gauges your reactions are all calibrated to assess compatibility, elicit reciprocal engagement, and maintain emotional closeness. By creating shared laughter and amusement, she builds a subtle bridge of connection that conveys affection without direct verbalization. Physical touch, when it occurs, is nuanced and measured. Light brushes of the hand, deliberate alignment of movement, or a fleeting touch on the arm or shoulder can indicate interest. These touches are neither accidental nor purely social. They are carefully orchestrated signals of attention and engagement. She may test boundaries gradually, observing your reaction, assessing comfort, and reinforcing connection. The cadence and pressure of her touch, combined with other nonverbal cues, serve as a sophisticated language of affection, revealing desire while maintaining the guise of casual interaction. Her choice of clothing and presentation is another form of nonverbal communication. She may select attire that highlights features subtly, aligns with known preferences, or enhances perceived attractiveness in your presence. These choices are not merely about appearance. They are strategic, aimed at eliciting attention and signaling availability without the need for words. Small adjustments, like the way she arranges hair, shifts posture, or subtly highlights physical attributes, serve as silent invitations for observation and engagement.